Hey, shalom, shalom. Call halal yom la. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this amount, which is the truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that preach this truth throughout the four corners of the globe, risking their lives and freedom to do so daily. All right. This is the brother Shemaiah from the GMS Cleveland branch. Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson to those who can receive it. All right, going into this parable of the sower. All right, in Mark, the 4th chapter. And Lord willing, it be edifying unto those, once again, who can receive it. This is Mark chapter 4, verse 1. And he began again to teach by the wayside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea, and the whole multitude was by the sea on the land. Verse 2. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine, Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. Verse 4. And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And those are the first SALACHYA. First and foremost, the sower are the prophets. The prophets are the men of the Lord who go out in the chief place of concourse, or in the public, in basically the heart of the city, you know, where most people dwell at, and they preach the word. They break down the scriptures. They break down prophecies to warn the people, all right, about what's about to come to pass. And we break down the scriptures to our people to compel the elect, all right, to return back to Yahushai. That's the goal, because right now we're fishers of men. All right. So the sower are the prophets, because that's who's sowing the word. It says, verse 4, and it came to pass as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And those who fall by the wayside, those are a representation of those who, you know, they come up, they hear the word, and then they are easily distracted, and they go venture off into whatever folly they go and venture off to. You know, for example, you may be out there preaching, a Jake may walk up, they listen for a little bit, you know, and they bus might come, a bus might drive, oh, that's my bus, I gotta go, you know, or something distracts them to the point where they end up venturing off and leaving. All right, that's what this represents. All right, those who fall by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came up and devoured it up. Those are the Israelites who they hear the word and they're easily distracted, and they end up venturing off to whatever folly they're going to. All right, verse 5. And some fell on stony ground where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up because it had no depth of earth. Now, one thing you have to realize is when you come into this truth, you have to have a foundation, and you have to be grounded in that foundation. You have to be grounded in the scriptures. You have to be grounded in the faith. All right. And because there's no depth, that means there's no foundation. All right, with these people. Verse 6, but when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And that sun represents the different afflictions and the trials and the tribulations, that comes from this world. All right, you got certain Jakes coming to this truth. They don't really know the seriousness of it. They don't really count the cost. Then when they start catching hell, they get offended. All right, or when they start catching hell, they start trying to find SALACHYA. They try to find different excuses as to why they should leave and go back in the world, man. All right, or the truth becomes the truth becomes a burden into them, when it's really the afflictions of this world that's a burden. But they look at it as the truth as a burden, so they go back in the world, because of the afflictions and the trials and tribulations that they go through in this world, that we all go through, man. All right. But verse 7, it says, and some fell among thorns, And the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. Which those thorns represent what? The cares and affairs of this life. All right? The different things that happen, the unfortunate events that happen to you. You may lose your woman. You may lose your child. All right? And most people bug out over that, man. Most people leave the truth, leave the brotherhood, separate themselves from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, from the ministry, because of unfortunate events. All right? And ultimately, it's because they were never of us, man. All right? But those thorns represent the cares and affairs of this life. And it choked out the word from out of them, man. To make them return back into their flesh, their lustly, the lust of the flesh, their wicked deeds, the world. All right? They become depressed. They become weary in the spirit, you know. They no longer want to preach. They no longer want to, hang around brothers. This, that, and the third. Brothers know, certain people who came in this truth and fell victim to those things, man. And it's a very scary thing. All right, it's a very scary thing because you never know what the Lord got in store for you. That's why you constantly got to stay prayed up. All right, you got to constantly be active in the scriptures. You got to read. You got to pray, man, that the Lord don't take the spirit off of you. You got to pray that you endure tribulation, that you'll be worthy to stand before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. You got to fast. You got to pray, give alms. Do everything you got to do in order to win Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua and get your salvation, man. That's the type of mindset you should be in. So that when the cares of the affairs come upon you, you don't bug out. You don't become weary. It says, verse 8, and other fell on good ground and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased and brought forth some 30 and some 60 and some 100. And that's the hopeful, that's the hopeful elect, man. All right, we call ourselves the hopeful elect because we don't know if we are that number. We have hope. We have faith that we are. We expect to be of that number because we have the faith and we're putting forth the work. All right. But the work is going out teaching. All right. Putting in these videos, uploading these videos, studying the scriptures so that when you upload the videos, when you break it down the scriptures, you know you on point. You're not leading a flock astray. All right. You want to win souls for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's your fruit. You want to increase in the spirit. You want to increase in faith. Pray to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua to increase your faith. You want to increase in wisdom and knowledge. Continue to study. Continue to go over the same breakdowns so you could be solid. All right. You want to continue to read. Learn these different accounts of our forefathers. Learn your history. All right. All of these things tie into falling on that good ground, being a good and faithful servant for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. All right. Because you want to increase and you want to yield fruit. You want to convert other brothers into this ministry. You want to win souls for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's the goal. All right. That's the goal, to give Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua more glory. And when you convert another Israelite back into their heritage, back into their true power, that's what you do. You're giving the Lord his glory and his honor due unto him, man, by going out and converting souls. That is a great work. And the Lord is going to reward his men for that, man. All right? It's a great reward for these things. But you got to endure until the end in order to get that reward, man. All right? You can't let the affairs of this world choke you out the truth. You can't let the afflictions or tribulations take you out this ministry. All right? You can't let Satan distract you from the goal. You got to stay circumspect. You got to stay locked in. You got to stay focused. All right? That's the only way. It's the only way, man. And trust me, it's easier said than done. It's way easier said than done. First and foremost, I'm talking to myself. You know? These are the things we got to do in order to win Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, in order to get our salvation. All right? Verse 9, and he said unto them, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Verse 10, and when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. Verse 11, and he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of heaven, but to them that are without, all these things are done in parables. That's why Yahweh Shah spake in parables. All right? Yahweh Shah spake in parables because it separated those, it separated the weak from the strong. All right? Those who actually listened to the parable and inquired of it, they asked Yahweh Shah what's the breakdown to the parable, because they thought about it, man. They actually had faith. They wanted understanding on it. They wanted wisdom and knowledge. All right? But those who couldn't understand, they couldn't get it, they were condemned by the parable, man. All right? They were condemned by it to the point where it didn't resonate in their spirit, man. It didn't resonate in their spirit to ask the breakdown to the parable. The 12 disciples asked Yahweh Shai, man. Yes, they did lack understanding to a certain degree, but that was the whole point of asking Yahweh Shai the meaning to the parable, so that they can understand, man, so that it can gain wisdom, you know. And now we have that understanding. We have the wisdom. The Lord has increased the wisdom and knowledge, man, so that now the prophets today, we understand these parables. We're able to break it down, man. All right. It says, verse 12, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, least at any time. Right, because SALACHYA, one thing is this is not given to everybody. It's given to a select few. All right? It's given to a select few men to understand and to apply. Everyone else is not going to get it, man. The majority of Israel is not going to get it because it's not ordained for them to get it. Scripture said wisdom should not enter into a malicious soul. And the majority of our people are malicious, wicked, and evil, man. They follow after the ways of Esau and Edom. John 8:44. Okay? It says, verse 12, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them. Verse 13, and he said unto them, know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? The sower soweth the word, and these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. Okay, and this is Yahweh Shah breaking down the parable to the disciples. Verse 15 is the breakdown to verse 4. All right, and it came to pass as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. Well, Yahweh Shah broke that verse down in verse 15. And these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. When they have heard, right, you got Jake, they come up, they hear the word, right? Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. They get distracted by little minuscule shit, man. And they end up venturing off doing their own thing, okay? Because it wasn't ordained for them to be converted. Verse 16, and these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word immediately receive it with gladness, right? Verse 17, and have no root in themselves, That root is that foundation, that faith, so that you can be grounded in, man. All right? It says, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction and persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. Right? Okay? Because when a persecution and affliction is going to come, that's promised. Second EDRAS, the second chapter says, when thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You have to, all right? Whether you win this truth or not, you're going to go through hell. We're all under the curses as a nation. We're all going through tribulation as a nation, man. The scriptures say we shall find tribulation in the world. All right, so you gotta know, you gotta count the cost before you come into this truth, man. It says, verse 18, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things entereth in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. Right, Jay come up on some money. Jay come up on the opportunity to do something of this world and thrive in the world. Jay go ahead and take that and forsake the word, man. Forsake Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. There's been plenty of cases where brothers can testify where that has happened, man. All right? They chose the world over Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, over the ministry, over the truth, over the Akim, you know? Which this is all going to lead to their destruction. This is all going to lead to their destruction, man. The ones who remain faithful in his word and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, those are going to be the ones who are granted salvation. And Lord willing, we be of that number. Verse 18, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as, okay, yeah. It says verse 19, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. Verse 20, and these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. Right? Because you got some men, you're going to have an elect few men that's going to remain in this truth, convert other brothers, which are of the elect, into the ministry and grow, expand in the truth. Their spirit is going to increase. All right? And the Lord is going to bless his elect. That's why we got to endure, man. We got to endure the tribulation. We got to endure the cares and affairs of this life, man. We just got to go through it, you know? Continue to stand strong in the faith in the ministry of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And you will never go wrong. Yes, when you go through these things, it's not pleasing. It doesn't feel good to the flesh. But your spirit is going to grow from it. It yieldeth the peaceable fruits of righteousness afterwards, man. And that's where it really counts. All right? So, verse 21, it says, and he said unto them, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed and not to be set on a candlestick? Right, which that candle is the light. The Lord said, Yahushua said, we are the light of the world, man. So when we go out and preach, that's our light. When we go out and we teach, we prophesy, that's our light, man. Okay? So we can't hide it. We can't hide this wisdom and knowledge. We have to embrace it. We have to go out and push it upon our people, whether they hear or forbear, man. All right? We got to apply it into our own selves and our own lives so that we don't be found hypocrites. All right? And that's basically the breakdown of the parable of the sower and SALACHYA, you know, for the rambling. But Lord willing, it was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahushai. Closing out, giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Yahushai. Call Loyim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rechak Wadash. Once again, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Shalom, shalom, Mawathalah Babar.